We're live.
We're live.
Hey.
Hello.
People can hear us.
Hello. Hello. Hello, everyone.
There we are.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
How are we all?
Hello.
Oh, hello. Hello.
Hello.
I'm Charlie.
And I'm Jake.
And we're Charlie and Jake from Echoes and Edges. And welcome to our Christmas edition of Open Collab.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's a bit different, isn't it?
Bit different, bit Christmassy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wow. What does Christmas Open Collab mean, Jake?
Christmas Open Collab is a little bit different to our usual monthly live stream where we're improvising new music for you. Basically, we want to have a look back at some of the collaborations we've done over the last 9 months already.
Wow.
Of all the submissions that we've had from all over the world, and just have a look at some of the earliest ones and some of our favourites and some themes that have sort of grown out of just organically, basically, from what we've received.
We've done over 80 collaborations since April. And it's been a real challenge to choose just a few of the highlights of the last 9 months.
Well, we'll start at the beginning, I suppose.
It's a good place to start.
This all began, obviously, because of lockdown, basically. Back in March, we were releasing our very first album of poetry and music together as the original Echoes and Edges collective, which is us two and 3 poets, Gilly Harries, David Punter and Tim Vosper. And we had a wonderful celebration in a beautiful venue up on Park Street in Bristol, all organised, but then that had to not happen and we went online instead. And in the process of sort of setting up our studio to do an online gig for the first time ever, we realised actually this is something that we could do again. And again. Well, we thought we could do it at least a few times.
Yeah.
And we started Open Collab the next month in April, and just sort of opened out the collaborations to everyone around the world. And we thought that it would, be within our small circle of friends and acquaintances that we sort of made from going to various different open mic nights. But immediately we were blown away with the response, and then it just kept on going. But if we look back at that first Open Collab in April, it's a little bit different to the one from last month, for example.
It looks like it was made in like 1997 in comparison. The journey we've been on, like in a technical perspective and making it look amazing and sound amazing has been huge. We've learned so much about how to make the poems sound amazing, but also musically, how to respond to things. Let's have a look back maybe at the first 3 months, April, May and June, and some of the highlights from those.
I think it needs to be that way, that seasons never stay. Hope burning for new air, wishes spent to save afresh. Abundance of jubilant praises, releasing energy through elated shakes, because we found this place. Time, space. Summer's waves, elixir immortal, rippling through spring's dandelion, birdsong portal, that sheltered us in winter too. Solid, solemn, a delicate hue, stripped of fire from ashen glisten. Magic times, old earth woken, enchanted alight, warming, regrowing, each breathy twilight.
I am a thought diva. So put very simply, it means my thoughts belong to me. I don't buy, hire or rent them out. They're one of few things today that are actually free.
I am a thought diva. I am a thought diva. I am a thought diva. Thought diva. I am a 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 thought diva. I'm a thought diva. I am a thought diva. I am a thought diva.
And that was all of the art I ever needed. You see, there's sunflowers growing out of cement, bringing warmth to the cold within this complex, where bluebells blossom from my bones and fuchsia flourishes from my tongue. I believe loving you has always been in my nature.
honeysuckle, honeysuckle, sweet honeysuckle. I believe you are golden, you are golden, you are golden, you are. I believe in my nature. I believe.
This is a love story that breaks through illness, that continues to hope. The narrative cannot end in isolation and embarrassment, nor resist the pull of surging complexity and the scale of beauty found there. The rocks are weightless and dancing. Remnants of faith linger like dust, a form of madness keeping life in my veins.
See myself reflected in the eyes of another. And as the wind blew through the trees, I could hear my own song on the breeze as it made them shudder. I could hear my own heartbeat in the flashes of lightning and in the rumbles of thunder. And I could taste my own tears as they fell from the eyes of another, as they cried for one who has returned to eternal slumber. I could hear my own blood rushing through my veins, because as the river returned to the ocean, it all became clear in the crashing of waves. I could witness my own life in the leaves on the trees, and how easily they fell away with the slightest of breeze. I could taste eternity when I kissed her lips, and understood that we were never not here, so there is nothing to miss. I feel the warmth in my chest because I believe that I am blessed. I believe that I am blessed when I see the rest of us. I believe that I've yet to see the best of us. So let us burn bright. Let us set the skies alight. Third eyes ablaze in the light of the new dawn. Let us not fear the darkness, because love resides where the heart is. Have faith, because the night will always give way to the morn.
So let us burn bright, let us set the sky alight, let third eyes ablaze in the light of the new dawn. Let us not fear the darkness, because love resides where the heart is. Have faith, because the night will always give way to the morn. The night will always give way, the night will always give way, the night will always give way to the morn. The night will always give way to the morn. The night will always give way to the morn. The night will always give way to the morn. The night will always give way to the morn. The night will always give way to the morn. The night will always give way to the morn. The night will always give way to the morn. The night will always give way to the morn. The night will always give way to the morn. The night will always give way to the morn. The night will always give way to the morn. The night will always give way to the morn. I believe the night will always give way to the morn. I believe the night will always give way to the morn of us. I believe the night will always give way to the morn. And I believe the night will always give way to the best of others. So let us burn bright. Always give way to the set the skies alight. Let us burn bright. Always give way to the set the sky alight. Let us burn bright. Always give way to let us set the sky alight. Let us burn bright. Always give way to let us set the sky alight. Let us burn bright. Always give way to let us set the sky alight. Let us burn bright. Always give way to let us set the sky alight. Let us burn bright. Always give way to let us set the sky alight. Let us burn bright. Always give way to let us set the sky alight. Let us burn bright. Always give way to let us set the sky alight. Let us burn bright. Always give way to let us set the sky alight. Let us burn bright. Always give way to let us set the sky alight. Let us burn bright. Always give way to let us set the sky alight. Let us burn bright. Always give way to let us set the sky alight. Let us burn bright. Always give way to let us set the sky alight. Let us burn bright. Always give way to let us set the sky alight. Let us burn bright. Always give way to let us set the sky alight. Let us burn bright. Always give way to let us set the sky alight. Let us burn bright. Always give way to let us set the sky alight. Let us burn bright. Always give way to let us set the sky alight. Let us burn bright. Always give way to let us set the sky alight. Let us burn bright. Always give way to let us set the sky alight. Let us burn bright. Always give way to the most. The night will always give way to the most. The night will always give way to the most. The night will always give way to the most. The night will always give way to the most. The night will always give way to the most. The night will always give way to the most. The night will always give way to the most. The night will always give way to the most. So that was clips from Bronwen Evans, Haneefah Mohammed, Monique Russel and Tom Burgess, and then the full performance from Mark DeLissa called A New Dawn. It's changed a lot, right?
Yeah, it has been. But we were blown away that right from the beginning. People were trusting us with their pieces and their poetry and sending them in, that people that we'd never met before, that we'd only we put a call out on Instagram, and Instagram is amazing for just sort of suddenly reaching these little sort of tendrils of connection across the internet. And
the spoken word community on there is just phenomenal, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
We've just found this amazing community out there that have all kind of that lots of people have found us too, and it's just been an amazing journey. Monique's especially is one that I just remember everything I did, and it's so memorable to me, despite the fact that it was in May. I think I could do that. Oh, just the line, I believe that loving you has always been in my nature. It's incredible. Amazing. And Bronwen as well always has this way of creating a whole world around, and Bronwen's one of those people where it's almost like you can, that sounds so pretentious, I suppose, but you can almost hear the music already and we're just realising it. Oh, that's so pretentious. But it's like Bronwen's built this whole world anyway, and she's being listen to this, and we're just actualising something that is there already.
I agree.
So almost immediately we were getting submissions from all over the world, where, as we said, we were just expecting our mates to get involved in this project. We were so privileged to immediately receive these poems from total strangers who trusted us with their words, which were often very personal. So we're going to have a look back now at some of the most incredible collaborations that we've been a part of with people from around the world.
I was thinking about your fixation on the 7-year cycle, when I managed to catch my train backwards. Wondering if you'd considered our estrangement a cyclical silence, as it had travelled into its 7th year. The traction seemed heavier as I was pulled the wrong way, speeding past stops that blurred with your memory. Had you still thought about time in such units of measure? Or had the sky just become a revolving door that kept pushing you forward?
This container carries countless shards of shaken stars and witnesses wisdom of air, holding everything in place, making us move and sit and wait. Container that carries markets with faces in flux, wide-mouthed bags devouring oranges and artichokes, while the sky is perpetually made fresh. Container whose persistent air is the most intimate touch I will ever receive.
Siguiendo los miedos, soltando las inseguridades, agarrándole la mano a la niña para entonces, sí, saltar sin miedo, aunque no estés aquí, nunca más.
What will the dove know? Is there something more noble than her song? What will the dove know? Is there something more noble than her song? Like life, eternal spring, perplexed, the dove does not know itself, always running away, always going, but it will never stay.
Because Sculpture by Claire Davis. When I find I am halfway through you, hearts and lungs redoubled, ribs interlocked in the messy way of small metal puzzles, you taste different to me. Like I am in your mouth, serving my own tongue forth for utterance, and to suckle on this, a thing desperate and wanting. There is no escaping this shrouded thud space of smooth things finding home. Like how my left kidney now lies atop your diaphragm, crowded by my spleen, which hoped beyond hope to elbow a space under your liver, but tired too early. I cling hard so as not to rip entirely. Bees die for less, I fear. We are meshed, transplanted, and you do not stop, but instead offer my own name on a borrowed tongue, and I tell you I don't know me anymore. Because we are sculpture, and the rest are walking around like the stuff of life with no art at all. And the rest are walking around like the stars
meshed. We are meshed. Because we are sculpture, we are. We are sculpture, we are. We are sculpture, we are. I don't know me anymore. We are sculpture. Oh, and the rest are walking around like the stuff of life with no art at all. Oh, we are, we are. We are sculpture. We are sculpture. We are sculpture. We are meshed. We are meshed. We are meshed. We are meshed. I don't know me anymore. We are meshed. I don't know me anymore. Start walking around, and the rest I don't know me, and the rest are walking around, and the rest I don't know me, and the rest are walking around, and the rest I don't know me. We are sculpture, walking around. Oh, we are sculpture. I don't know me. We are sculpture. We are. We are sculpture. We are sculpture. We are sculpture.
Because we are sculpture, and the rest are walking around like the stuff of life with no art at all.
We are walking around like the stuff of life with no art at all.
Because we are sculpture, and the rest are walking around like the stuff of life with no art at all.
And the rest are walking around like the stuff of life with no art at all. We are sculpture. We are sculpture. We are sculpture. We are sculpture.
What is? Tweets, chirrups, and barks, up and down rhythmically, sometimes abruptly, sometimes flowing at ease, at times quiet. Just now a green parrot flew above me, leaving a wake of wonder. And now there's breeze, and many birds praise the day with flight and song, praising the ground and generous land, praising the space where sun rays ground, making us inspired.
Praise in the space where the sun rays ground. Praise in the grand and generous land. Praise in the space where the sun rays ground. Open up. Open up.
Open up. See. You, me, the birds, the palm trees, earth are just names for songs. Sounds in the boundless music of what is love.
Open up, see you and me, the birds, the palm trees, earth are just names for songs, sounds in the boundless music of what is love, of what is love,
What is love?
what is love,
What is love?
open up, see you and me, the birds, the palm trees, earth are just names for songs, sounds in the boundless music of what is love, of what is love.
What is love?
What is love?
What is love?
Open up and see you and me, the birds, the palm trees, earth. What is love?
So that was a couple of pieces from Australia, North America, Central America, and across Europe, including clips of our collaborations with Kirsten Jane, David Leo Sirois, and Megureando, as well as the full performance of our collaboration with Claire Davis and Ratna Dakini.
Yeah, some really beautiful moments there and really memorable moments for us. I mean, Kirsten's poem about her father was, I think, the most moving part of Open Collab ever. Like, I just wept. It was just incredible that somebody on the other side of the world would share their experience in such a personal, incredibly articulate way. What's the line? You treated the sky like a revolving door, something like that. It's just beautiful. And I remember Jake, we'd finished, Kirsten had finished the piece, I thought we'd finished what we were doing, and Jake just played piano for another 5 minutes or so, and it was just like, I genuinely thought you'd forgotten where you were and that there were other people there. It was like you were just playing to yourself in your room and you just were totally taken somewhere else with the whole thing and the whole emotion of somebody trusting us with something so personal.
Yeah, it's a real privilege to be able to work around these such inspiring words that everyone sends in, and finding that initial inspiration is often quite hard for creatives, and it's amazing that we don't have to do that initial work.
Yeah, that's
in a way,
true, because we just respond.
Exactly, yeah, we respond to these incredible pieces and the whole worlds that have already been created, and then we're adding a little bit of music. We're being inspired to create this music around it, and And I found it really especially inspiring to make music around an entirely different language, and to do a piece that we did know what the meaning of the words were because we did ask for a translation, but to have the different way of talking, the sort of the cadence and the sounds are so different, and it's just such a nice, refreshing way of like hearing voice and making music to that. It kind of gave us a very different response, I think. That was really lovely. So wherever you are in the world, keep on sending your stuff in, and it doesn't have to be in English. A lot of meaning can come just through the delivery and the emotion that is put into the performance of the poetry, and we really love exploring that. So it's been a lot of fun.
Certainly has. Okay, so shall we have a look at some of the more unusual kind of techniques we've used over the last 9 months?
Absolutely.
So as you've seen, I'm sure, we have a lot of instruments around us in our little home studio here in Bristol, but we try and push ourselves every month to come up with silly and unusual ways to use household objects or soundscapes or use our voices to create these new worlds every month and push ourselves. I mean, that's what's been so good about the whole thing, is that we've stayed creative because we've had to put on a show every month, and we've kept pushing ourselves, and it's just been such a lifesaver really for our own music making, hasn't it?
And the developments that we were doing were not just like, in the first few months it was basically just technical trying to get it to look better and sound better for you watching, but once we sort of had that down a bit, we were able to start exploring different ways, different instruments and software, not just instruments in our flat and finding new ways of playing a tin can full of chickpeas but also different effects and software that we were plugins and all of the things inside Ableton, the music software to try and just explore different things, be crazy and experimental and do more with the words that are given to us. And it's been a real fun challenge coming up with something new to bring every month and to the night as a whole.
So let's have a look then, shall we?
Yeah.
Thinking how even the most muddled of those Rubik's Cubes can't be solved. So we absolve ourselves from having to figure it out and asking if that's even the point.
So this is Glottal Stop by Jack Collins.
Glottal stop, glottal stop, back of the throat catch, make my old man hop. Totally breakable bad habit, don't even say your tea, quick grab it. Alright mate, what do you want from shop? Skittles or butter or bottle of pop?
Black beaks crop close, fine green blades, white chin strap, black curled neck, pattern and motion neat and quick, garrisoned to front and sides, picket's eye, all King's Meadow. Soon this outfit secures our seat, one gallant goose halts at my feet, to privilege me his eye and churring chest, and so for a bit we exchange churs, chat.
I miss the thump of the milk jug as it comes down on the counter like a judge's hammer. Air bubbles extinguished in return for creamy silk. Miss the floating conversations that pass about the tables, first world outrages and everyday anecdotes. I miss the handshake, back slaps, families jostling kids in laps while they break a pastry from the artisan, next to creased book spines and purveyors of fine art prints.
So this is Holly Moberley with What the Thunder Said.
What the Thunder Said. Hey, it's me again. Sorry, I didn't mean to scare you. I just have a lot to say. I'm often found arms up and shouting because I have this fear of going unheard. I compensate a lot. I'm not flash like lightning is. I rarely feel seen. I put too much pressure on my sound. I always think I have to make it rhyme, sing, or be some breed of profound. I've found there is a high decibel to living. I speak to drown things out. If you think I'm loud, you should hear the voices in my head. I'd be compared to a whip crack, but I prefer the term rumble. When I speak, there are no fighter planes landing, but there are skateboards about to hit the tray flip. I know I'm not as soft as rain. I can't say things gently. But why should I when the universe began with a hot shout? It took its first wet breath and said, open your doors, let the living in. All life begins with sound. So give me your cry, kick, give me your moan, laugh, your first pump of heart. This is how I like to see myself. Life descending over and over. I'm stitched with the same thread that wove the Big Bang. I'm clashing colours. I'm the question, are you really going to wear that today? And the yes that follows. I'm not your god, but I heard he's up here somewhere. People feel the same way about me as they do a wet dog shaking. I don't smell as bad. I'm not as far reaching. Because right now, there's a boy in his Playmobil house, and he's crying. But I don't know how to comfort when the words don't work. So the more I talk, the more he cries. Boy, I don't know how to listen without trying to be the antidote, boy. I always take on so much weight and say too much, boy. I'm loud at all the wrong times, boy. This is the wrong time, I repeat, boy. This is the wrong time. Thunder said. How do you shout without raising your voice? How do you take the hand of a friend and whisper, this? This is what the thunder says. I put what the thunder said. I read out what the thunder said. I put out what the thunder said. I say by hey what the thunder said. Out what the thunder said. What the thunder said. I've What the thunder? What the thunder? You should hear the voices in my head. What the thunder said? What the thunder said? You should hear the voices in my head. What the thunder said? You should hear the voices in my head. What the thunder said? You should hear the voices in my head. What the thunder said? I'm loud. What the thunder? You should hear the voices in my head. If you think I'm loud, you should hear the voices in my head. If you think I'm loud, you should hear the voices. Sorry, I didn't mean to scare you. I just had a lot to say. I really feel sick. I put too much pressure on myself. Open your doors, let the living in. Open your doors and let the living in. All life begins with sound. If you think I'm loud, you should hear the voices in my head. You should hear the voices in my head. Sorry, I didn't mean to scare you. I just have a lot to say. I really feel safe. I put too much pressure on myself. Well, open your doors and let the living in. Oh, let the living in, the living in. Should hear the voices in my head. Oh, open up your doors and let the living in. Open up your doors and let the living in. No life begins with sound. And if you think I'm loud, you should hear the voices in my head, in my head. Hear the voices in my head, in my head. That's why what the thunder said. You should hear the voices in my head, in my head. Oh, in my head. Oh, and if you think I'm loud, you should hear the voices. How do you shout without raising your voice? How do you take the hand of a friend and whisper, this is what the thunder says?
You should hear the voices in my head. You should hear the voices in my head. Sorry, I didn't mean to scare you. I just have a lot to say. Open your doors, let the living in. Open your doors and let the living in. All life begins with sound. And if you think I'm loud, you should hear the voices in my head. You should hear the voices in my head. You should hear the voices in my head. Can you hear the voices in my head? You should hear the voices in my head. All life begins. You should hear the voices in my head.
What the thunder said. What the thunder said.
What a load of fun!
Oh, blimey!
Oh gosh, it's so much fun and such a joy to experiment and explore in all the different ways that we can just make noise and hopefully make music.
Yeah. Noise is the minimum, music's the maximum.
Yeah. But it's something that we've always, like from the get-go, we were even working as the initial quintet of Echoes and Edges. We were always sort of exploring with different ways to blur those boundaries between music and poetry and bring things from the real world into it, so that it's not just some music and some poetry, but try to get much more of the elements that they're talking about and speaking about in the words, like just space and place and recordings of an environment, and bringing that into the inspiration for the sort of the bed for our music, and then going the other way, like with the one from Holly Moberley at the end there, with What the Thunder Said, chopping up the words that she spoke and playing them as a rhythm and as an extra instrument. And that's not to mention all the other different experimentations we were doing with Barry Hollow, Alex Rankin, Jack Collins, and my mum, Lee Upton Brouw.
Yeah, so things like the Rubik's Cube for Barry, that was like the second line of his poem, and so I put a call out on Facebook for somebody with a Rubik's Cube for us to make a beat out of. Alex's poem was all about being in a cafe and missing being in a cafe, so we had lots of like jugs and teacups and stuff. And Glottal stop, I loved that, doing loads of Glottal stops and starts with and all that kind of popping in your throat.
Interesting vocalizations. Really cool.
And with your mum it was the what are they called?
The anklung.
Oh yeah.
The bamboo instrument, which you would have seen, a beautiful instrument, and then using an app plug-in software thing on the laptop to sort of capture a bit of that, and then be able to play it across a keyboard and like on the fly, which was obviously this is all possible when you're sitting down in your studio late at night or early in the morning, depending on who you are, and creating these sounds. But we were so excited when we were able to do it live in front of the audience as we were going along. So we can't wait to find out what we're going to explore and experiment with next.
Who knows?
Yeah.
So moving on, one big event for us, the first big event for us, was our 6-month celebration show in September this year, which was amazing. I mean, we kind of, as we kind of mentioned, Open Collab was only meant to last like a couple of months, really, just to get us through April and May. And I mean, back then, none of us knew how long lockdown would be. So this was kind of serving as a way to make music while we couldn't gig and while we couldn't be at festivals and things like that. But it's increasingly become a huge part of our lives and a huge part of our creativity. 2020 being the year that it has been, we wanted to celebrate every small little thing that we could. Finding joy in the little things. So rather than celebrating a year, we celebrated 6 months. And it was a show like no other, really. It was a real breakthrough for us. So for September, lots of things were really special. We went into HD and we had a topic for the first time ever. We had this theme of milestones, and we had amazing submissions around this theme. Lots of people taking it in a very different direction to the one we were expecting. And also we were totally blown away by the number of submissions we had. It was totally overwhelming, really, wasn't it? How many we were, and it's such a hard job to choose between them all every month. It was also the first time we started doing sort of double whammies, wasn't it? Of putting two poems together that kind of fitted for us in the same world, in the same sort of sonic world of, the two that you're going to hear from Luke and Abby are both very different takes on the theme of milestones, but both around the idea of the end of life and of grief. And so we put them both in this same kind of musical space, and it was the first time we'd done that, and we feel like it worked amazingly well. And I mean, how cool is that two, as well as neither of them have ever met us, they've also never met each other, and yet we've all collaborated over the internet. It was amazing. So here is our collaboration with Luke Addison and Abby Hayes with Each Day She Wakes Him and The Last Goodbye.
Each day she wakes him. Each day she wakes him, she'll say the same thing. It's me, your wife, Lynn. She sees he's trying, at least he might be. Beneath the crying, between the sighings, she seeks to find him. Behind his eyelids, alive with 5 kids, a wife of 45 years, she thought she might live a normal life with before this crisis. They called it Alzheimer's. She remembers the tension as they tried to present them with these lines and these charts and these guides for prevention. Well, it's called a disease, but it's a type of dementia, and we've caught it quite early, said the doctor who met her. It probably feels there's a lot to remember. It's possible we've got till the end of December, so pop in next week to meet your dementia befriender. But that was all back in September before her panic attacks, and his hands had a tremor that suggests she relaxed and then she'd feel better. How she wished they were back when he first met her. How he fished as she sat writing him letters. How they kissed their first flat, how they braved through all weathers. But today his fists raised. Once again he forgets her. He's enraged, feeling strange, he's developed this temper. She remembers the first day that they came to the centre, deep in pain on his birthday, hesitating to enter. On the way heard a nurse say, that's the worst case on record. But oh, how his words stay in her brain as he led her. He'd say, it could be worse, hey, at least we're together. Though that was true at the time that he said it, what they'd go through would slowly develop. Misplacing shoes, phones, keys were never in their place. They had moved, but mostly the pressure. There was more to lose than simply possessions. She'd put up little clues in the kitchen and bedroom. You're Dave, you live here, you're 67. To tell you the truth, she never knew if he read them. Perhaps their use was helping her to feel better. What else could she do to help him remember? Would he make it through to the end of December? Christmas came quickly, or so it seemed. This nightmare she lived in was also a dream. Just simply living was now a routine. She'd still wake him up at 8:15, look into his face and tell him it's me. He'd stare into space and then he would breathe a sigh of relief, or so it seemed. She brushed all his teeth and helped him get clean. Now in a rush she'd help him to eat. He'd make a fuss as she tugged on his feet, getting cross that his socks were the wrong kind of green. She'd explain they're the same as they'd ever been. But she hadn't lost her patience in weeks. She'd embraced that the rage comes alongside the grief. It's amazing but strange how love's strong belief is the key, so it seemed, to what's underneath. So she just loved him more, the parts she could see, and the rest in her head, she knew his heart did still beat, the same as it did as ever before. Though keys still went missing, she could never ignore how it feels when she kissed him, and he said he was sure. Though his socks may be different, and his head is still sore, with every minute he loves her more.
Every minute he loves her more. Every minute he loves her more. He loves her more.
The longest goodbye. We sit, your hand in mine, for days, weeks, months at a time. Not a single word between us, but the quiet beauty of our love resonating like an old familiar song, melodic in our bond. You don't know this place, can't place my face, but you know that I'm love as you drift away. And that is enough for me, needs to be enough for me. As your eyes grow wide, searching for safety, lost in long forgotten places, they fall on me peacefully. Your hand clings to mine ceaselessly, I hold your fears steady. As our memories treasured float like feathers on a breeze, leaving behind another missing piece of our story, another page blurring, ink smearing, words disappearing line by line. As we sit, your hand in mine. And when it's time for you to go, and I think to myself, you've reached your final milestone, I realise there is nothing final about you leaving. Your memories, moments, stories that you're in echo through our hearts. Your milestones are part of our bones, part of who we are, and now they're written in the stars.
The memories, moments, stories, the joy echo through our hearts. Your milestones are part of our bones, part of who we are. Now they're written in the stars. Now they're written in the stars. All the memories, moments, stories, the joy echo through our hearts. Your milestones are part of our bones. Oh, they're part of who we are. Now they're written in the stars. 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 So she just loved him more. The parts that she could see, she could never ignore how it feels when she kissed him. With every minute he loves her more. He loves her more. You don't know this place, but you know that I am now. You don't know this place, but you know that I am love. The memories, moments, stories, the joy echo through our hearts. Your milestones are part of our bones, part of who we are. Now they're written in the stars. 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 All the memories, moments, stories, the joy echo through our hearts. Your milestones are part of our bones. Oh, they're part of who we are. Now they're written in the stars. They're written in the stars. The memories, moments, stories of yours, they echo through our hearts. Your milestones are part of our bones, part of who we are. Now they're written in the stars. Written in the stars.
So she just loved him more, the parts she could see, and the rest in her head. She knew his heart did still beat, the same as it did as ever before. Though keys still went missing, she could never ignore how it feels when she kissed him, and he said he was sure. Though his socks may be different, and his head is still sore, with every minute he loves her more.
And when it's time for you to go and I think to myself, you've reached your final milestone, I realise there is nothing final about you leaving. Your memories, moments, stories that you're in echo through our hearts. Your milestones are part of our bones, part of who we are, and now they're written in the stars.
Your memories, moments, stories that join echo through our hearts. Your milestones are part of our bones, part of who we are. Now they're written in the stars, written in the stars.
Wow. Incredible from both of them.
Yeah.
I was really crying.
Yeah.
That was back in September, so we should say that that was when lockdown restrictions were kind of had been loosened, and eased a bit for us in Bristol. So we had lovely Nikki taking photos and their partner Nick. So we had a little 2-person audience, which was magic, wasn't it? It was lovely to hear the claps and and feel the music with them. It was the first time I think it was the first time that we'd had an audience for our music since lockdown.
Yeah.
And as wonderful as it is to see all your clapping emojis in the chat, it was really nice to actually hear people and respond to people live. That was lush.
And the community around Open Collab is also something that was really starting to build up by this point. And it was every month. It's always amazing to see all the chat that happens in the live chat whilst we're doing all of our stuff musically. We always take time afterwards to read through what everyone says. And not just people talking about other people's poetry, but then that conversation going further and ending up with more connections happening that we've seen through Instagram and through other ways of virtually connecting. We're really quite proud of this little community that we're starting to build, and we definitely want to make sure that continues to be important to us and continues to grow and nurture that, I guess.
Absolutely.
Because it really did start as a way of remaining creative and collaborative in these very unconnected times. And even when lockdown starts to ease, it's still I think important to keep that going. And so we want to make sure that stays at the heart of what Open Collab is and building that community with you and with us. So welcome. And thank you.
So that was September, and then it was October.
October was busy. Yeah, in October we had many different things happen, not just the regular Open Collab, which was, as always, very lovely, but we were also invited to the Cheltenham Literature Festival to play a live gig in front of a real live audience in a bar, because they were able to basically put on a smaller, slightly reduced version of what they normally do every year. And in one of their marquee stages outside in the wonderful Imperial Gardens just near the town hall of Cheltenham, they were putting on some shows, and they asked us to come and do a version of Open Collab for them there.
So we performed some of the highlights of the first 6 months of the show, and we can show you one of those now, right?
Yeah. This is Nathalie Sallegren with My Country is Burning.
This piece was inspired by the bushfires in Australia. I wrote this in January. I live in Finland now, and I was feeling quite homesick watching the bushfires from a great distance. I also have a background of living in Central Australia, and a lot of the emotions I felt came to the fore while writing this. It's called My Country is Burning. Ochre shapes on the rock face, ancient rites where petroglyphs sighted. I see footsteps traced, sprayed in paint, bearing the old ways. Creation recorded, wisdoms carved, first people's spiritual guide, stories told across the skies. Rite, ceremony, wisdom, initiate. Scratched fossils cracked wide open. I find I'm digging for my survival, trying to find where they connect to. I look to the sky. Flat feet grind to place my weight so evenly in this space. I'm struggling to retain the ground I walk on, but the sand is forgiving and molds to me. Eucalyptus sweats from the leaves, and I'm drunk on the unbearable heat. I meditate in the stench and absorb it. The sun's rays break in the dry riverbed, and my own path crosses the caterpillar dreaming. Wisdom's recorded in oral tradition. Rite, ceremony, wisdom, initiate. And this is all bigger than me. And this is all bigger than me. Now, it's not okay to hear the roar of the engine. It's not okay to see a digger with intention.
It's not okay to bulldoze with aggression, dig pits out pockets where ancient world's hiding. It's not okay to destroy placement and origin. It's not okay to crush the petroglyphs of wisdom. It's not okay to dominate with ignorance. Fracking fractures the earth's crust, forcing out our heart's gas. Backburning methods lost all control. Old growth forest has lost its soul, like drilling rigs in sensitive coral, like tearing down Gondwana land's hold, like endangering our marsupials, like taking babies from their mama's fold, like creating a law for genocide, like following a leader who makes you lie, like following a leader who makes you lie, like following a leader who makes you lie. My country is burning. Fossil fuels light up the horizon, wasted water rusts the pipelines, corrupted drinks and passes it round to dull us, while rum is passed down in the family. That family drinks into stupidity, the captivated enjoy humility, ashes beyond ashes, dust bird to dust. My country is burning, the carbon's expanding. No right, no ceremony, no wisdom, dissipate, lost at the coalface.
This is all bigger than me. This is all bigger than me. This is all bigger than me. This is all bigger, all bigger. This is all bigger than me. This is all bigger than me. This is all bigger than me. This is all bigger, all bigger. This is all bigger than me. This is all bigger than me. This is all bigger than me. This is all bigger, all bigger. This is all bigger than me. This is all bigger than me. This is all bigger than me. This is all bigger, all bigger. This is all bigger than me. This is all bigger than me. This is all bigger than me. This is all bigger, it's all bigger.
Amazing poem by Nathalie.
Really powerful.
Yeah, and kind of one of the first times we've been really angry while making music. It's just an amazingly passionate piece.
Yeah.
Later in the month, we were also invited to perform at the Big Bloody Brunch run by our friend Gwendolyn in New York. This was a festival all around the idea of raising money and raising awareness around period poverty. We performed some poetry collaborations celebrating women, and here are 2 clips from the show.
Our girls of today are the bright and fearless young women of tomorrow. So as adults, we must be the examples that they should want to follow. We know the world needs to change, so let's keep working at it tirelessly. Use our money, our time, our voices, our platforms. Let's make it happen. Fight for their freedom and for a brighter future for our girls and our young women.
I'm not cool like the other girls. I'm not cool like the other girls. I'm not cool like the other girls. I'm not cool like the other girls.
But I can love. I can squeeze all the hurt from your screaming insides. Say sorry for all that's making you cry. Soothe you at night and say it's all right when you're bleeding. I'll hold you and cheer you and want to be near you and tell you you're always enough. I'm not cool like the other girls, but I can love you. I can love you without having all that stuff.
I hold you and cheer you. I want to like the other girls, and tell you you're always enough. The other girls, not cool like the other girls. I'm not cool like the other girls. Not cool like the other girls. I'm not cool like the other girls.
So that was Haneefah Mohammed with Our Girls and Young Women, and Emma True with I'm Not Cool Like the Other Girls. Super cool.
Of course, because Open Collab began during lockdown and has basically been running throughout lockdown, there was a lot of poetry submissions throughout the months that sort of dealt with or responded to this new situation that we had all found ourselves in. And it was really lovely to be able to respond to it ourselves as well via all these different pieces that were sent in to us. I think it's really important in a time like this to try and
make sense of things.
Yeah, make sense of things and still try to respond to them creatively, so that we can share the different emotions and different experiences, but still connect together and still come together as one, and share some music and poetry together.
So here are some lockdown poems from the last 9 months.
The phone call. We've been expecting a phone call, delivering a message that's becoming normal, the second set to the first wave of something viral that has swept across borders and oceans, bringing oceans of tears to our borders. And that phone call came today. Caller ID on display, we knew the words "I'm sorry, I have bad news" would put into jeopardy the financial security of our family. Instead, the words "I'm sorry to tell you a colleague has passed away at home" came down the line in flat monotone, and we instantly recognised the words were code for suicide. We have seen since the onslaught of COVID-19 the globalisation of human suffering, humanity reaching out while staying in, posting and streaming all manner of things in an attempt to circumvent alone manifesting. This was not the intent or what was meant when the company that has operations globally started talking redundancy, cutting costs to preserve profits that realistically, even if halved, would still be profit enough to ensure no person on their payroll need be told they are unnecessary. Profit enough to provide security and lifelines for individuals and families. Profit enough to keep the company operational only, not shareholders happy. What I'm saying is, globalisation is the act of extending out across the globe, but we can choose to extend anything. So why not hope?
Did you ever think about it? Did you ever think about it? Everything is everything is now. 'Cause it's happening now. Did you ever think about it? Oh, did you ever think about it? Did you ever wonder why? Did you ever wonder what it takes to say goodbye? Did you ever think about it? Think about what you've done. Did you know about the things that your actions haven't done?
You have beautiful eyes.
Beautiful
And for now, watchful from our windows, a world in breathless shadows, scanning the empty, struggling to see the lives we'll lead ahead of us, looking into glasses without magic potions that unpick the notions of humans disappearing down rabbit holes, chasing white coats, grieving lost time. You have beautiful eyes. You have beautiful eyes. We will see again. One day, we will see again.
We will see again. We will see again. We will see again. We will see again. We will see again. You have beautiful eyes. You have beautiful eyes. You have. You have beautiful eyes. Oh, mutual rewiring. Together we internalize the not knowing, the flowing, the now.
Fingertips on strings, droplets in springs, flowers opening with scents spraying, teacher becoming student, new ways of learning.
Fingertips and strings, droplets and springs of flowers.
Take a risk. The best friends are the friends you meet on the edge. My grandchild, 6,000 miles away. His nighttime is my daytime.
Soundtrack of my disconnect. Blood rush intensity triggers the trauma and also reminds me of our love for each other. Long infusing hugs into the breadth and breadth of each other. It's there in the ether.
Into the breadth and breadth of each other. In the ether.
Realising that all this time we were full of pips, tiny cases of infinite potential, sown in some kind of rubble. And I know, yes, I know, there will be orchards when all of this is over. We will be orchards when all of this is over.
Tiny cases of infinite potential. Tiny cases.
You go to find the host. Whose party is this anyway? The music shuffles days, decades, centuries. Sonata to reggae, gamelan to techno. Mid-track, as though the DJ is wired into everyone's heads. Then some new style of music nobody's ever heard, but sways to in tones that poetry noise. Room after room, full of poems, each a party, each a world. Some opening lines seem nice enough. Then, this poem which introduces you to all their friends. You'll keep in touch. Maybe there's a poem you'll make official, live with, framed on your wall. On the stairs, poems touch screen scroll, upload themselves on a digital fizz of hearts. As you set out from this party poem, this rainbow of houses, this high-rise, this high-rise woodland rainbow house, you'll glide through rolling streets, where poems flit between phone lines. Poems claw through side alley bins. And this poem ferries you home now, its engine warm and humming.
Your mind is a dance floor of potential. Your mind is a dance floor of potential. Your mind is a dance floor of potential. Is a dance floor. Your mind is a dance floor of potential.
So that was some collaborations with Skylar J. Wynter, Kerry Baker and T.S. Idiot, as well as a different collaboration with Black Swan and Robin and Pauline Sewards that actually came about from a workshop that Black Swan and Robin put on a couple of weeks before the October show, where we all wrote live together on Zoom, and then we thought, well, why not record what we'd written, send it in to us, and then we performed it live for the October Open Collab.
Yeah, it was really special to be talking about connection while connected on Zoom and improvising, everybody improvising words and music around the same theme was really cool. And Black Swan and Robin have been such a regular collaborator with us over the last 9 months that it was really cool to add some lyrics and stuff and really make a piece together. That was awesome, with Pauline as well. Really cool. And then lastly we had Caleb Parkin, the current Bristol City poet, with his first commission as Bristol City poet, Party Poem 2020. So to finish off, we couldn't really leave you without showing you all of the times when we've kind of forgotten where we are and what we're doing and kind of got lost in the music and let it go on for 10 more minutes after the poem had finished. So
it's our favourite thing to do.
Absolutely. So here is a selection of some of the kind of most emphatic and special endings of pieces.
Our young girls and women, they look to you. Oh, our young girls and women, they look to you. Oh, our young girls and women, they look to you. Oh, our young girls and women, they look to you. Oh, our young girls and women, they look to you. Oh, our young girls and women, they look to you. Oh, our young girls and women, they look to you. Oh, our young girls and women, they look to you. Our young girls and women, they look to you. I'm money, I time, my platform, my voice. Oh, I'm money, I time, my platform, our voice. Oh, I'm money, I time, my platform, our voice. Oh, sunrise, sunlight, sunset, yeah. Sunrise, sunlight, sunset. I wish you light for those dark days. I wish you warmth against the cold. I wish you success over your challenges and you contribute back to the glow. I wish you light for those dark days. I wish you warmth against the cold. I wish you success over your challenges and you contribute back to the glow, to the glow, to the glow. Oh, yeah. I wish you, I wish you, I wish you. I wish you contribute back to the glow.
I wish you light for those dark days. I wish you warmth against the cold. I wish you success over your challenges and then you contribute back to the glow. Sunlight.
you don't get to know me and respect me and value me for more than the eyes I can make at you or the thighs I can shake at you, and you can take a hike. My body, my brain, my life. This warped light may be the only place you can see, the contrast with reality. And here in the shadows, in my hollow park, whether you see it or not, I have value in the dark.
My body, my brain, my life. My body, my brain, my life. My body, my brain, my life. My body, my body, my brain, my life. And you can take a hike. My body, my brain, my life. You can take a hike. You can take a hike. My body, my brain, my life. You can take a hike. My body, my brain, my life. You can take a hike. My body, my brain, my life. You can take a hike. When all about you is tornado and despair. When all about you is indifference and cruelty. When all about you is shaking and sorrow. We're lifting up each other's voices. Oh, lifting up each other's voices. Meditate on our distance from the stars. Meditate on first smiles and last smiles. Oh, lifting up each other's voices. Oh, lifting up each other's voices. I'm lifting up each other's voices. Lifting up each other's voices.
So that was some endings from collaborations with Haneefah Mohammed, Jamal Ghozi, Danielle Pegg and Tom Burgess. And now we come to the last few of the night.
We wanted to just end with some of our favourite collaborations of the last 9 months and send you off with some inspiration and some uplift and just some of the best times that we've had on Open Collab, creating music around your poetry. It's been a real honour, as we've said, to create this music around your words, and we can't wait to start doing it all again in January. Submissions will open in early January for our show on, I believe, the 23rd. Thank you, the 23rd of January, and we'll continue on the third Saturday of every month forever, I think.
Yeah, hopefully.
If you'd like to support Open Collab, you can do this in a few different ways. We have a coffee page where you can buy us a £3 coffee or a £6 coffee, whatever.
Or really fancy £9 coffee.
That would be fancy. We, as we've probably mentioned a few times before, we don't get funding from anywhere else, and it takes us days and days and hours to put the show together, to choose all your poems, to edit the audio, to make sure it sounds great, and to put the videos together. So if you'd like to see this project continue, we would really love your support. As well as the coffee page, we have a Patreon page, which is our little family VIP kind of club, isn't it? We do special live streams just for Patreons, Q&As, and really we ask for advice on there too, on what you'd like to see, what direction you'd like to see Open Collab going and things like that. You guys, the guys on our Patreon are kind of our focus group and our kind of real solid community of friends and fans that really help us to build Open Collab into wherever it's going to go.
Yeah.
So to finish off, we've got 3 amazing poems for you. We've got Met by a Dragonfly Dancing by the lovely Kerry Baker. We have Pete A Petrol Station Love Story by Greg Arundel. And we have Build a City by Star Anderson. Have a lovely Christmas. Look after yourselves and each other. And we'll see you in January.
See you in January.
Merry Christmas.
Bye-bye.
Screeching mitosaurs cut through the metal. Around your wicker casket, statues, dolls and scarecrows met to bubble and burst from their stuffed suffering. Wildflowers in tsunami wake your young wildlife, brown-skinned boy. Too much for us to take. Dragonflies dance and trance in wild lines between us, unsuspectingly reflecting your sweet life. Iridescent impermanence. We play hide and seek, grasping, clinging to the winging, wishing, well, it was 7 years ago. Trees growing wild and afro, we couldn't find you at first. But this time, lighter-hearted, searching, reliving your long-limbed, short life, full life, passing, met by a dragonfly, dancing. Found in everything, not harnessed in, nothing lost, just energies rearranged. You knew, which is why you could go. Still painful, but iridescent impermanence. Thank you for your teaching.
Thank you for your teaching. Thank you for your teaching. Thank you for your Thank you, oh thank you for your, thank you, oh thank you for your, thank you for your teaching, iridescent impermanence, iridescent impermanence, and nothing lost, just energies rearranged, nothing lost, just energies, energies, thank you for your energies, energies rearranged, iridescent impermanence, iridescent impermanence, iridescent impermanence. Thank you, thank you, oh thank you for your, thank you, oh thank you for your, thank you for your teaching. Oh, I was met by a dragonfly, met by a dragonfly, met by a dragonfly dancing, iridescent impermanence, met by a dragonfly, met by a dragonfly, met by a dragonfly dancing. Oh, oh thank you for your teaching. Thank you, oh thank you for your, thank you, oh thank you for your iridescent impermanence. Thank you, oh thank you for your, thank you, oh thank you for your, thank you for your teaching. Nothing lost, just energies rearranged. Thank you for your, nothing lost, just energies rearranged. Thank you for your, thank you, oh thank you for your, thank you for your teaching. Thank you for your, thank you for your, thank you for your teaching. Thank you for your, thank you for your, thank you for your, thank you for your teaching. Nothing lost, just energies rearranged, iridescent impermanence. Thank you for your teaching. Thank you for your, thank you, oh thank you for your, thank you for your teaching.
Pete, a petrol station love story. Anything else for you, sir? Pete sits, sighs, scans through another discount pork pie and wonders why, oh why did he choose this life? See, Pete, he'd never been the ambitious type, and try as he might, motivation was the only gripe he had with himself as he lay in bed at night. Beep, 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 checks his pulse, sees if he's even still alive. Pete's life had well and truly flatlined, he just lacked drive. You see, this 24/7, that was his domain. From pumps 1 to 6, he did roam, remain, with no one to blame but himself. And Pete's station, it was stationed on the very edge of town. From coppers on patrol, limos, ball gowns, they all passed through his doors. Lead-footed businessmen, wet wipes hastily wiping lipstick marks, guzzling tic-tacs as the tactic for the route home to their wives, midnight triple-shot coffee for triple night shift midwives with crow's feet eyes. He was the constant in their lives, the unleaded gatekeeper on their travels to the outside. Cross my palm with silver, no less than £5 per minimum, and we don't accept American Express. And so below the neon lights of his petroleum perfumery, his castle of confectionery, all alone on his swivel throne, our king holds forecourt. And as our hero sits and sighs, sending through late-night texts without reply, that 24th little hour, caffeine-stained, drips by. 0001. Pete's shift shifts from night to day, and things might start to shift our hero's way. From his perspex prison, his heart thuds so loud he can hear each beat. The boy from the all-night takeaway across the street comes striding towards him, helmet in hand. Fuck. He had nothing planned. Though he was pump number 4, to Pete, he was always a 10. And when we looked at him, he was ripped apart, yet more whole than he had ever been. He had dark brown hair, sort of ruffled, out of place, in helmet-grooved curls down his bespectacled face. And in that one moment, Pete saw a future and dreamed to think that even their shifts could be in sync. See, to him, they were one and the same. And when he looked at him like those petrol puddles, he was rainbow-stained. He wanted to tell him that it was always a pleasure and never a chore, that every time he walked through his door, whether 9 a.m. or 3:45, no longer was his life this monotonous bore, that together they could flick through heat with all the out-of-date Mars bars they could eat. So come on now, Pete, this is it. Don't just gawp at him, you useless tit. Just smile. That's it. That's not so hard. You're already doing better than that time it took you 15 minutes to ask if he had a nectar card. Now just say something, anything, whatever comes to mind. Ask him how his night's going, if he maybe wants to go for a drink sometime. How's your drink night sometime? Shit. Well, I suppose it's an improvement. Shame. Maybe tomorrow night we'll try ask for his name.
This is called Build a City. I hope and pray that once upon a time, someday, a little girl's dreams can come true. Dreams of love equally shared by two. He the husband that makes me a wife. Lights replace stars in the night. And dreams melted in reality come alive within me. I want to belong to someone and build our own city. I want to spend forever never being alone, happily making a house into a home, to never take or be taken for granted, refusing negativity to orbit our planet. So into us that into you is into me. Sometimes love hurts, but it's always a blessing. The world can be a lonely place. Let love come and get weak. I can see forever in your face, and I want to build a city. I want to stand in my granddaddy's church and see you waiting for me. And when it gets hard, he'll put in work, 'cause see, he'll adore me as I do him. I just want to be able to check husband as my next of kin. I want to stand barefoot in the kitchen as I carry your baby. Eyes will tend to glisten as each day we learn to grow and live, love anew. And I just want to build a city with you.
Taken for granted, confusing negativity all when I plan it. Ooh, never take them for granted. Refusing negativity. Never take or be taken for granted. Refusing negativity. Order my planet. Never take or be taken for granted. I wanna build a city with never take. I wanna build a city with negativity. To never take or be taken for granted. Negativity. I wanna build a city with you. 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 Wanna build a city with dreams melted into reality. Come alive for me. Dreams melted into reality. Come alive for me. I can see forever in your face. I can see forever in your face. Dreams melted. Build a city with you. Wanna 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 build a city with you. To never take or be taken for granted. Refusing negativity, order our planet. To never take or be taken for granted. Refusing negativity, orbit our planet. To never take or be taken for granted. Sometimes love hurts, but it's always a blessing. Wanna build a city, but it's always a blessing. Wanna build a city with you. Wanna build a city with you. Wanna build a city. I wanna build a city with you. Wanna build a city with you. I wanna build a city with you. Wanna build a city with you. I wanna build a city with you. Wanna build a city with you. I wanna build a city with you. Wanna build a city with you. To never take, I'll be taken for granted. Refusing negativity, I'm in our planet. To never take, I'll be taken for granted. Refusing negativity, I'm in our planet. To never take, I'll be taken for granted. Refusing negativity, I'm in our planet. To never take, I'll be taken for granted. I wanna build a city with you. I wanna build a city. I wanna build a city with you. Wanna build a city with you. I wanna build a city with you. Wanna build a city with you. I wanna build a city with you. Wanna build a city with you. I wanna build a city with you. Wanna build a city with you. I wanna build a city with you. Wanna build a city with you. Wanna build a city with you.